Yeah. Okay. So I think at first let's dive into the elephant in the room. Of course, is Tesla earnings of Q3, and I have a clip here with me that I wanted to share. It's about 1.5 minutes long, and yeah, it's about the earnings and everything summarized by Tesla Boomer Mama of Twitter. She did a great job there, so we don't have to run everything through. So I'm gonna share this for 1 second here.
Discussion with a major automaker about licensing FSD. This is not surprising in the wake of failed efforts like Argo at Ford. Autonomy is hard. It requires vast amount of data, and I believe many automakers will fail to achieve it on their own. To which Elon, during the call, answered,
Yes.
this is a big deal. So this is it. This is the big deal. This is what is happening. I mean that, and I love it that the Wall Street doesn't get it. Please, this is a good
during the
tip to follow.
call, he
Yeah.
did say that the analyst that I think who's you should really following is ARK Invest, because of their analysis for FSD is so accurate.
Yeah.
Or he didn't say that, but he just said that I think their analysis is very good. I recommend looking at ARK Invest. And I just did an interview with Tasha Keeney. So folks, if you haven't seen that, go check out my YouTube videos and watch that video, because it means something now, because Elon basically called out ARK Invest. And you got to hear, and people thought that their analysis for FSD and $1,000 stock price and the cost per mile and how many cars will be driving in robotaxi was crazy, because they say that robotaxi won't be happening for years. But it really feels like that the confidence for the entire company, not just Elon, but we heard Ashok Alaswamy do his presentation about 3-4 weeks ago. Very confident. He says that all the new tech that he was showing in that presentation will be in customers' hand, he believes, by the end of this year.
Yeah. So this was more on FSD, but I think this was one of the highlights actually from the earnings call, and or from the Q3 earnings. So maybe you want to comment on this already, because it's interesting to.
So once again, I identified with Elon. It was like, as soon as he said it, I've been a salesman my whole life. I started selling greeting cards door to door when I was 5.
Awesome.
I understand sales really, really well. A lot of my books are heavily oriented to sales. And what Elon was doing was saying, and I've done this so many times, he was saying to the entire customer base out there, I'm talking to one of your competitors right now about FSD. So if you're interested, you better get on the phone. That's what that was all about. He couldn't have been more excited to get that out there. And so, yeah, it's really obvious that they think they're close. They're close enough to start talking to customers about how to employ it on the cars. I'm mixed between whether I think it's Ford or Mercedes that was on the call. I mean, it's on the phone. I think Mercedes has less investment in their own version. And so it'll be easier for them to just say, whatever we've invested, we'll just throw it away. We'll just go with Tesla. They also have a relationship with Tesla from years ago, which they should have actually kept that stock, because they would have so much money.
They bite it in their fist all the time, I think. Yeah.
And then I think the other option is the most likely is Ford. But for maybe a different reason. Ford said in an interview earlier this year that they had 105 or 110 different companies working on their software. And that one of the biggest challenges they had was how they integrate that software. And if they want to change one little thing, it might affect 15 or 20 or how many of those companies. And so Tesla could come in and basically become their entire software source. They'd eliminate 120 vendors. They'd have all of their software throughout the entire car done by one company. They could reroute and change up their methods for their wiring and for their Bluetooth and everything else inside, and add on full self-driving right on top of it. It sounds to me like a dream for Ford that could really catapult them to right up to the lead of what's going on, at least in the U.S. market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have this clip right here. Fortunately, I have it on hand right here. To maybe it's just a few seconds, so we're gonna jump in.
Car companies haven't written software like this.
Yeah.
Ever. They've never written software. So we're literally writing how the vehicle operates, the software to operate the vehicle for the first time ever.
Yeah. So and what he followed through was exactly that they have like suppliers of software parts. For example, for the seats, they work together with Bosch, for example, or like you said, 160 vendors or something.
Yeah,
That it's absolutely crazy. And this is also like every like legacy car company actually does it in Germany as well. VW did the same thing a long time, and Audi and everybody. So this is common in that they outsource everything. Doesn't make sense with software. I think it's horrible, and that's what shows in the interfaces of the German car manufacturers and also the American legacy car companies, of course.
In the Elon Musk mission, we did say, licensing will be a big deal. They have so many different things that they could license already, but I think that the legacy car companies were nervous about coming to Tesla for stuff because they thought it might make them look small to be grabbing off technology from this upstart.
Yeah.
And also I think they were maybe, as they should be, pretty nervous about this upstart now becoming something way more than an upstart. So I think there was a challenge for them to actually pick up the phone and call and start having these conversations. But the whole thing with the superchargers, that broke through. So that broke through that dust, that broke through that wall. Now it's like open season. It's okay to talk to Tesla about tech.
Yeah, it's interesting. You've mentioned something like who is the mysterious car company, the big OEM, the big car manufacturer. You've mentioned Mercedes, and I have a perspective on this that might be interesting here. I don't think that it's Mercedes. It's not probable in my opinion because they already invested heavily in their own drive pilot. Of course, not as much as Tesla here, and Tesla really did it and had it on the road. I mean, I would be surprised, but of course it could be, but I think it's also a pride thing. I think people from Germany are too proud to admit something like this. That's part of our culture. The competition, we are very aggressive in the market with competitors. VW also falls off the table there because they have their own solution with Mobileye. I could see Audi do that because Audi had really problems with that, but they are inside the VW group. That's why they're gonna use the solution of the VW group, of course. Yes. Even if they seek out different things. So all of the companies work autonomously, more or less, but still they comply with VW Group, of course. So I assume it's Ford. That's my guess here. Because the Germans are too proud to take something like this. I think that's just a speculation of mine. So. Or maybe we are proven wrong and it's BYD actually or something like this. Exactly. This would be totally.
The reason for a BYD would be, I think that BYD, first of all, they already have a relationship, BYD and Tesla, and both of the CEOs have a personal relationship already, so that would make it easier. The other thing would be, I think that maybe they get each other more because they are founders, they are CEOs, they're a CEO of that type. As opposed to a CEO that comes in with their master's degrees hung on their MBAs hung on the wall. These are guys that are, in the dirt, they're out in the factory.
That's true.
I think they get one another. So it could be BYD.
Yeah, BYD would be interesting because they don't sell in the US because of the tariffs. They would have to make a factory in Mexico or in the US to really sell to the US. But for the Chinese market, it could be a possibility, I think, because I think Tesla could realize that the Chinese competitors will have such a huge incentive to copying FSD as soon as they can, because they already did with Xpeng really copied them and stole code from them. Of course, earlier version, and then it separated, and Tesla's on a whole different level now, totally different ballpark here. But this could be interesting if Tesla wants to penetrate the Chinese market at first with licensing. So the FSD thing is already solved, so they don't have any competition anymore in that sense. Because then the Chinese government said, "Why, we have a solution? It's fine. Let's just go with that. Why develop our own stuff? Just take
right.
this. This would be like a possibility. It could be very, very interesting. Yeah."